Here.
Mr. Cater.
Here.
Mr. Buckley.
Here.
Okay, all in favor, please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since he's in the suit, Mr. Clark.
Dear Lord, we thank you for all the opportunities that you've given this county to grow and to prosper. We thank you for all the things that you've given us personally. We ask for help and healing for some of our family here at the county. And we know that you will take them in your loving care. We ask for wisdom and guidance, discernment, and all the decisions that are made this morning. And all these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I don't have the tie on yet.
I thought you might throw a prayer out there for
Trying
the
to cover the dress a little bit more appropriate. He's got a meeting in Jeff City today. Consent agenda is on the board, has been published. Motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
I am going to play fast and loose with the agenda order today. We're going to have the bid opening, and we have bids, 3 categories. I think, is that a 51 or 52, Shivy? But
That's 51.
I thought it was 51, okay. Anyway,
That's exactly what we got.
there's categories here for the bid. It's all for the police cars, but it's for the cars, for upfitting and something else. Buck, what are the 3 categories on those bids?
One is just the
car.
cars, it's van, and then we got one that's already upfitted.
Okay. So, but there's 3 different bids, all for the cars.
Yeah.
Okay, now what we're doing this early for, we're gonna try to act on this today. Because these cars are, some of them are in the dealerships, they may not stay in the dealerships, there are other people that want them.
Okay.
So we wanna move ahead and get these cars purchased, if the bids are appropriate. So that's why we're moving this ahead. We'll, take a look at these bids and hopefully act on them today, like I
Is there
say.
van too?
Yeah.
That car there,
Van,
it's already got the
here's
built-in
2
deer
cars.
number on it.
So if anybody would like to see them,
Yeah.
before they take them back to discuss with the auditor, they're here. Anyone, I don't see anybody from any of the car dealers.
Who are they from?
Probably Luke Hughes.
The police interceptor is,
They're all from the same, but
Yeah,
I
Luke
don't
Hughes.
know.
They
Oh,
called
is
me
it
and told me they'd send them, so.
all right,
That's the
got,
only ones you got.
it's the only ones we got. So see if they're acceptable.
Lou come down himself?
Doesn't say, doesn't even say the name, that's pretty,
It's on there somewhere.
sure it is. You'd have to look at the
Okay,
window there.
Sheriff,
Whatever.
would you please look at these bids, please, and maybe take them to another side? Look them over.
You
go in our office.
Go back here, guys. I've never sent a sheriff out of a meeting before.
I've never been on sheriff.
You know, that car is about 20 years. All right.
We'll be back shortly.
20 years before
Now,
I was born, that car was made.
We're going to move to Kendra.
You should always put your name on it.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing me to change that around in order.
We did.
Good. Thank you for having me on the agenda. Giving the quarterly extension report, activities that happen in St. Francis County from our office and from specialists that serve our county. So we're going to start with 4-H. I guess I better introduce myself. I'm Kendra Graham. I'm Extension Engagement Specialist based here in St. Francis County. In 4-H, we have a pretty big dynamic in 4-H. We have our traditional clubs. Right now we have 88 members and 20 volunteers that are serving just those clubs. I believe there's 5 clubs in the county. But we do so much more than just serve those traditional clubs. St. Francis County has brought over $16,000 in this year for additional summer programming. Some of those programs were STEM related and came from either the Department of Elementary Secondary Education, 4-H and Foundation, the Rotary Club in St. Francis County are some of the donors for that. We reached 850 kids with just those funds during this summer. So, and this is beyond our traditional 4-H clubs. So we had 4-H STEM to Go. They worked and put together backpacks for kids to check out of the public libraries, and they reached 210 youth with that. 210 youth used the bags, and they had to keep a record. And so brothers and sisters also, when they were checked out, used those bags when they took them home. So we calculated over 550 youth just used those backpacks when they checked those out. They had activities in those backpacks. When those backpacks came back in, they replenished the supplies, ready to go back out again. They did summer coding clubs, and so 32 kids met once a week during the summer and practiced coding. A Girl Power 4-H coding camp, just for youth and females. 17 girls took part in that. And then they had what they call take and make STEM projects. Also through the public library, they had 150 of those created as well. I do want to mention they do have another grant that they've just received for $300, I believe. And what that is going to encompass is they're going to put together meal kits for those families in need in Bismarck. So the 4-H club over in Bismarck is going to be putting together meal kits for that area. So that just recently came in. On the livestock side of it, Mike Graham is our livestock specialist, and he's done a couple programs listed here, Black Vulture program, and a lot of St. Francis County residents went to Madison County. They worked with the high school down there and did a shielded metal arc welding class. So that was pretty well attended. He did have 8 students, but most of those were from St. Francis County. Of course, we have our Show Me Select Heifer program that happens, the sale happens twice a year. That brought in gross revenues in 2024 of $692,775. You can see he had several phone calls. If you want this report, it's interesting to see the topics that come in, as well as Katie Kamler, our horticulture specialist. Mike had 53 phone calls, 10 walk-ins, 15 farm visits. Katie has 107 inquiries from 16 counties and 3 states. And the range of topics is amazing, and so I'll let you guys read that if you want to. Our food and nutrition program, Alyssa Boyer goes into the schools as well as works with our food pantries and senior centers, and she reached over 3,600 people, kids and adults, through that programming for October, November, and December. So not only is it just in the schools, she participated in, we have a crunch off that goes through, it's kind of a Missouri-Kansas competition, and so they delivered popcorn, Missouri-grown popcorn to not only the schools, but also in the food pantries to help promote products grown in Missouri. They did a trunk and treat, and she also worked with the SEMO Family Violence Council shelter. As far as just kind of engagement activities, we do council leadership training, and I wanted to bring this up because anybody's welcome to join if they want. We gear it towards our extension council members, but it kind of just discusses what the extension council does, what types of statutes, activities related to the statutes that they have to meet. And so we do a training once a month on that if anybody would like to join that. Our council elections just ended, and we have Brandon Hampton, Eric Davis, Amanda Stegall, Jennifer Vaughn, Kelly Racer, Shay Davis, Mia Bryant, and Matt Merrill will be added to our current members that were not up for re-election. We will have an annual report by state statute. The county council has to submit an annual report to summarize what we did in 2024. That will be ready February 1st. We have to give that to our legislators, as well as anybody in the public who would like to see that. And then we do training for our office support. So all the secretaries in our East Central region, which makes up 17 counties, we try to do training for them to help them serve you better.
Congratulations to the new council.
Yes.
New past president. And one question is, okay, you said there's 5 clubs for the 4-H and I guess St. Francis County. So is that, and I don't know, because I know nothing about 4-H, but is it like the Boy Scouts where if I wanted to put a club together, I could do that?
Yes,
Or-
yep,
Okay.
absolutely, very similar to the Boy Scouts, yep. We have one here in Farmington, don't ask me to repeat all their names, one in Bismarck, there's one in Bonne Terre, Deloge area, one in the Salem Creek area, I'm trying to think, that's only 4, there's
All right.
5 that I know of, so.
How many counties you travel?
I cover 5.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a liaison between the council and commission and the staff, so. Yep. I do want to ask, we have a spot for a county commissioner on our extension council, and so.
Congratulations, Gary.
I'm not
No,
getting
he's
involved
at
in who
this
it
meeting.
is,
We
but
can't
you're an
vote.
appointed member, voting
I'll-
member.
I'll be there.
Which was the
so-
most likely farmer?
Yes. Oh, wait.
It
I
doesn't
think
have to
that's
be
Harold.
Oh, my farm.
Yeah, none of them have been outstanding in the field.
But we're happy to have anybody,
Thank you.
Let me know.
anybody to serve. There's
Yeah.
a spot specifically for you according to state statutes
I
on.
think it's pretty, but we're happy to have anybody.
You could rotate if you wanted to.
No, that's all, and that's fine too. Jim Carey wants to start out, and he says, okay, it's too much time, that's fine.
Okay.
You just let us know, that's
Well,
awesome.
Do you want us to include all of you on the emails for meetings or just? all three of you?
I'll be there. I enjoyed that. Your, our little dinner we have every year.
Yeah, he seems to be the one who gets to make that one. It's the same time as the other meeting that I usually make, and it's like,
Oh.
I miss it, and I hate that, because you guys do such a great
Well,
job.
that is coming up the first Tuesday in March, so, yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Kendra.
Well,
Awesome.
we have a meeting tonight, but don't feel pressured. I'll have James send you.
Kendra, I have a question or two.
Yep.
Black vultures,
Yes.
do we have that? Those are very big vultures that are dangerous for newborn farm animals.
Yeah.
So-
They're here. We have some on our farm, I know. We have not had any issues. I know issues are sparse,
Yeah.
but it
It's
can,
there.
it can happen.
Okay.
And so they need to contact, the USDA, and we have a number there at the office,
Okay.
if they suspect an animal's been killed.
Kendra, they did have a problem down south with those. didn't
Yes. Yeah, Southwest Missouri is really struggling, yes.
Now, what about feral hogs? We had any issues with that?
So, has been a few sighted at the very southern end of the county, southwestern end of the county.
I understood they were coming this way, but I hadn't.
Yeah, they're in Madison County,
Yeah.
but, I think they're making a dent. We have a extension specialist that works
Jerry.
with Jerry Richards, yeah.
The problem we're having with that right now, I think the federal government, cut the funds out for it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I think they kind of knew when they hired them that they would be,
Yeah,
on a year-by-year basis.
yeah.
But Jerry does have a report that they have gotten rid of several hogs, really reduced the numbers by trapping and whatnot, so, they are making a dent. So it is having an effect. They
Okay.
just gotta work with landowners that see them. Yeah.
Okay, now, utilizing sun hemp, is that how close is that to marijuana?
It's not. No, sun hemp is it's a lagoon. We've grown it before. We mix it with a summer annual. Yeah, it's a very tall, it's like more like a sunflower kind of.
Just an unfortunate name.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Kendra.
And the first picture I put up for that, it was the dairy cows. I took that off our county.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have so much dairy cows anymore. Okay, guardrail purchase. Motion to make this purchase.
We need anything?
Well, we'll do that
Okay.
comment.
I make a motion, we purchase the guardrail for $8,850 through DNS Fencing as a sole source.
Second,
I'll second that.
comments?
Clay?
We're going to install this ourselves in-house. We bought it from DNS, who is the regional supplier, so they're really the only place we could have purchased it. It's for safety reasons at this new bridge on Sand Creek, and had we had a company do this, it would have been, the fee they would have charged to install it is $6,000, and we're gonna do it ourselves.
Just for the labor.
Well, labor and their equipment that they use to do it.
But we're gonna start on this and, we'll do it ourselves. Do it in-house.
When is the material available?
Those two mailboxes are in the.
So it can be put up right away.
Yes.
Clay, you might explain to them on this here, if putting it in ourselves, even though we had to install, what's the savings on that?
Well, you know, the contractor, or DNS would have done it, there's other contractors that would have done it, roughly $6,000. Now, they have different machinery than we do to install this type of apparatus, if you will. Now, we could do it ourselves, we have the equipment to do it. What would take them about a day will take us probably 3 days to do. But fortunately, this is the time of the year in which we have available manpower to be able to do something like this. And the whole issue when this bridge was replaced, if you're familiar with that area, you had approaches to the bridge before, it's like a ramp on either side, the bridge was high. So when we put the new bridge in, we couldn't lower the bridge because we could not restrict the water flow. So we built the road up higher at both approaches to compensate for the ramps, if you will. So because of that, it's a much higher and steeper grade off down into the ditch, the runoff. So it could potentially be a dangerous thing should someone run off, and that was the need for the safety reason to put the guardrail there.
Well, that picture there don't really show it, but that's one of our deepest
That's
bridges we
actually
had.
the wrong side. This is the
All right, I took it Saturday.
north.
Okay.
This is the north approach where we won't really necessarily need guardrail. As you see, the ditches aren't that deep.
Yeah.
But if you was to turn around 180 degrees and look the other way,
They
you'll
are
see where it's very
very
steep and deep. And, you know, not that this is a factor or not, but there's several wineries in the area, and, you know, maybe there's impaired drivers driving that road at times. So that was a factor a little bit, not officially, but.
Clay, am I right? I
These aren't
think
bumper rails.
Yeah.
No, they aren't.
the depth of that bridge is probably, what is it, like over 19 feet down, isn't it? It
Yeah,
was a
and the
very
old bridge
steep-
was too, and like I say, when we replace these bridges, we cannot lower the bridge, we cannot restrict the water flow of what was there before. So that's why the bridge is as high as it was, and we just built the roads up to match it, for safety.
I took this picture Saturday at noon, and 100 yards before I got to this point where I was, a great big deer crossed the road in front of me. And a very heavy big deer, and left front leg was broken. And it's sad to see.
Did it fall off the edge?
It
Oh,
probably
I
off
just
that deep
wondered.
ditch, yeah. But it was heartbreaking to see that
Oh,
happen.
man, oh.
Okay, do I have a motion second?
Yes, yes.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of approving this purchase, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Hang on, Clay. Okay, change order for that same picture. You wanna talk about it?
Okay.
Motion and second.
Bridget, this is one really, this change order. I think we approved change order, but this is actually, am I right, Bridget, going up to MoDOT to approve possibly to pay this change order? And, Clay, do you know about this?
Is this,
I think it's for the north end, right?
well, I was under this isn't for the sheet piling?
No.
No,
Oh, we
there's
already
three
did- we already
different,
did that one.
there was three different,
Okay.
we had the south end, the north end that had change orders, and the pilings. I think they were all put together, and possibly Jeremy is approaching MoDOT on this,
He
and they're
is.
gonna pay a percentage of
So
this.
Jeremy
Jason,
Manning.
Yeah.
Jason and I met with
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Mhm. Jeremy, yeah.
With Jeremy Manning from Smith & Company last week. And for some clarification, we had to do some work on both the north and south approaches. Now, what you're looking at is the northern approach, which is where we had to do some extra excavation and extra asphalt. Now, through the BRO program, the excavation was paid as part of the bridge project. The asphalt has not been yet. This is what this is for. So it's in the process of possibly a portion of that being paid through the BRO, through the MoDOT federal funds. We don't know yet, so this was the change order there. Now, the southern approach, which you can't see, was the $36,000.
I know, it's in the picture, I know.
And that's not going to be paid through MoDOT at all, it wasn't part of the bridge project, so we have already requisitioned to pay that. But this is just one that's on hold, this change order, until we see if we can capture additional funds from the VRO program. If not, we will pay it.
Now, Clay, I think we've already approved this, am I right?
We have.
This just went back, this possibly could be paid by MoDOT.
We're just waiting to hear
Yeah.
from our engineer and the
It's just
MoDOT
discussion.
engineers to see if they will pay some or all of this asphalt as part of the bridge project. And so that's the change order.
This is just for discussion.
Yeah, this is just really discussion.
So we're not gonna act on this?
No.
Now, the southern approach has already been requisitioned and paid.
Yeah.
It was discussed here a couple weeks ago in the commission meeting, that, you know, we thought the entire amount, but after talking with the engineer, that we'll pay that. That was something that we added on that needed to be done. It's not necessarily part of the bridge.
Okay, so that's a report, not an action.
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you. Sheriff, are you ready to act on those cars?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Buck, you gonna do it?
Yeah, the total, they still had the cars in stock up there, so they didn't sell them out from under. The total for 4 cars, 4 Explorers, 1 van, comes to $244,935.
5 cars for $244,000.
Now, that's not counting the upfit. It costs about $12,000 to upfit each car, so we try to do that in-house.
But this is budgeted.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's what, 47, 50,000?
Throw that in.
So, 4 cars, 1 van.
45 and 50,000 apiece, something like that.
Now, Clay, I gotta ask you something, they're not upfitted. Have you decided on upfitting or
Well,
we gotta wait?
the upfitting, if we send it out to get it upfitted, they're gonna be about 56 or 4,600 bucks a piece. We can do it in-house, the labor, for about 1,500 bucks.
That-
Labor.
Time and material?
Yeah, but here's the thing, there's just 2 of us down there, and the guy that was helping us do it, he's a deputy, and he works on his time off. It's comp time. And you know how that's
I
going.
know it. Yeah.
So, he don't wanna do it if he ain't gonna get paid for it, so. And it'll take us a while to do it.
Right,
Or
but
so.
if he, okay, I got you.
You
Yeah,
guys have the
that's-
ability on that policy set up that if that's circumstance that you approve it for that purpose, it saves us money.
It'll save you $3,000 a car.
What you do to try to.
But if we get somebody to fill in for him and
That's
he's
not an
doing the
immediate
car.
decision, we'll act on that later.
Regular.
Okay,
Sorry.
motion to purchase these cars did you get the dollar amount?
Yes.
Okay, so motion please.
Okay, I make a motion that we purchase the 4 cars and one van for $244,935.
From?
Lufuse, Chesterfield.
And yeah, in Chesterfield, and it's in the budget.
Second?
I'll second that.
Questions? On favor of buying these 5 vehicles, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Buck, you might point out that we had no local dealers.
Didn't have, not one local dealer. You know, we had this out on bid for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of wasted time in my book.
Well, then it's a process.
That's a process, but still, it's something that.
I'm with you.
I understand.
To the wayside.
Okay.
Nobody does it no more.
Okay, Sheriff, buy your cars.
Thank you.
Did we cover everything on that we need to cover? Okay.
You'll need original bids back so she could take copies of those.
Okay.
Well, when we were talking on
Very
that,
many
I just
copies.
wanna happen to maybe speak up to the locals, possibly get with them and maybe pre-order a few of these cars and have them on the lot. It would be an advantage.
That's the
if they
problem, they
could
don't
do
have
it.
any of the cars.
Hmm.
They don't have any cars.
Yeah, and they only
It takes
build them
them a
one
year to
time.
get 'em.
Yeah, Chesterfield's is the special, the one there in the valley that specializes in trucks and these types of vehicles. That's why they have them.
Okay. Next meeting, right here next week. Anybody got correspondence?
Nobody writes.
Any public comments? Any
Peter?
departmental reports?
Did that say on Monday?
That's when the, stuff's due for the
Oh, okay,
agenda.
okay, never mind, I see. Okay.
Didn't think I had it wrong, but never know. It's been known to happen. No public comments, departmental reports?
Yeah, a couple things. Today, the ballot closes out for the April 8th election. So far, things I know there's mayor race in Deloge and Farmington. I'm not sure on Park Hills. School board in North County, Farmington does not have a school board election because 2 people are running for 2 positions. They do have 2 bond issues, one a continuation of 90 cents and then an increase of a 40 cent. So like Libertyville and Noblick, the precincts will have to be open, and that will be the only thing on that they're voting on is those bond issues. There's no countywide fire districts. Both Terradallac and Big River are going to try to do what Wolf Creek did a couple years ago and form a district that they can levy tax rather than trying to get the fire. That system has unfortunately, it's very, very, very difficult to get people to
Buy the
buy
fire
fire
tags.
tags, and then there's lawsuits if you don't fight the fire when you go there and nobody has a tag. So anyway, they're going, both of those districts are going to be on the ballot. That's, anybody got any questions with the elections? I'll go to the other subject. All right, second thing, with our insurance, we have to deal with the lawsuits. And we've had several lawsuits over the past few years in the sheriff's department, in the jail department. That's been budgeted. Most of the time, we are paying a deductible, a $10,000 deductible. That's in the budget. We knew we were going to settle a lawsuit that's been going on for like 7 years. 2 prosecutors ago, and we knew we were going to settle it in December. We could have hit it in the budget, but we didn't. I want to say that our share is going to be $75,000. We're trying to get $20,000 out of the prosecutor's fund because the majority of the settlement is back salary for this person that was let go a few years ago. Insurance does not cover that. That's why we're not a $10,000 deductible. We may have to meet later this week, and when we find out about the prosecutors, if that department's going to be able to help us at all. If not, we will have to authorize $75,000 in 2 separate payments that we'll have to decide where it comes out. I would assume it would have to come out from reserves since it's not in the budget. But we earlier this year, just to clarify, we cannot talk about this. We went to mediation, and you can sunshine it. We can't talk about the details, but we have to talk about, without hiding it, we have to talk about what we're going to cut the checks and the amounts of the checks for. The reason this came to a head is because we were liable for the back salaries, and every month that would go up, and it didn't seem like the insurance company's attorneys gave a rip about that because they're not liable for that part. So finally, we hired an attorney a few months ago. He got him to go to mediation. We were several $100,000 apart. The insurance took the majority of the cost, but we had to take part of it. And so this week, or next Tuesday, we will be having a meeting, and I didn't want to have a separate meeting, and he said, oh, you guys hid that, you did it, it was on a Thursday afternoon, so that we can cut the checks to settle the contract. Okay?
We're under a time frame.
We're under time frame. We're supposed to have that funds released this week, and we don't have the exacts yet because we don't know if any of it's going to be borne by the prosecutors.
Now, this is a report now, not an action.
Cannot be an action.
It's not on the
But
agenda.
we may call a meeting, if we get this thing settled, we may call a meeting for Thursday, for example, and I don't want to think that we're hiding it. We're talking about it here where everybody's coming to the meetings, so that when we will have to cut some form of checks that will equal $75,000.
This week.
This week, yes.
Okay.
Or at the very latest, we're gonna see if they'll let us go to Tuesday, but we may have to do it this week.
I think we can do it this week.
Okay, I'm not gonna open this up to questions
Nope. Yeah,
because
we
there's so
can
much
answer.
we can't talk about. But, okay, thank you. Next item, new management, Road and Bridge. It's all on there. Jason Harris is a new boss. Hi there. And we had 8 interviews with people that work at the Road and Bridge. Wonderful group of people. I enjoyed every one. I learned from every one of those 8 people. They had good ideas. They're bright, good, hardworking people. But we chose these 2, Justin and Clint. And privately, Justin really had the budget down pat. When he was in those interviews, he brought up the budget. He knew what was going on. And that was, along with all of his other attributes, that was a big factor in my mind. So we're very happy with having these people. And, and Clay's going to work with them. And even the other interviewees talked to me and they said, we understand and we'll work with those guys to help them if they got any questions. It's all a very, let's say, a happy decision with the department, as far as I can tell. So that's our new management out there now. And so it started yesterday. So, any questions? Again, it's a report, not an action.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you all.